Hey guys, welcome back to my 90 days of lessons for me to you. And today's day 16, day 16. And once again, we are back inside the house. Two reasons before I even get into today's lesson. It's raining outside. Yeah, it's raining outside. And again, I can't be bothered with if the risk of my phone not transferring it to my PC. So I'll figure that out eventually so I can get back outside when it's not raining and I can get you guys, some pretty good shots in the sun and all that stuff. But today's lesson is stop living life how other people want you to. Stop being the person that other people want you to be. And this one is a little bit personal, more so than the others, because my entire life I always lived like this. I always try to be a people pleaser, to put it, bluntly. To be honest with you, you're being a people pleaser, and that's what I was. And to some extent, it's hard to get rid of that. So even, around, also guys, drink your water if you're not drinking. Hydrate every single day. But I was gonna drink it, but don't forget it. Yeah, so it's hard to get rid of it even as you grow older. I've worked on it and I've gotten better at it to not people please as much anymore, because people will take advantage of you. People take advantage of people who seem to want to do the most for them, and the wrong people take advantage of it. There's the right people who, when they see that, they'll appreciate it and they'll reciprocate that for you. But for the most part, the wrong people will take that and abuse it. And it's also toxic to your own mentality to live your life not for your own self, but for what other people expect of you or want from you. Even if it's something, say, that's good for you. At the end of the day, if that thing that's not good for you isn't from your own being, what I'm saying? I'll get into like an example of this later on. If it's not from your own being, then sure, it's not good. And my example of this is, for me, my own personal experience. As I've grown up, I've changed. I've changed from the age I'm different from when I was 8 to the age I was 10. When I was 12, I was different from 10. And, like at 18, I'm different from the age of 10. But, I remember this one time I was in college, and I don't remember, or maybe it was high school. I don't remember what was going on, but I know that I gotten into it with my mom. And, we clash. Me and my mom would clash a lot in high school because of when I first moved here. I was living with my grandparents or my father. And me and my mom, she has a very different parenting style than my father did, right? So I can't remember what we were clashing about, but I do remember that I will say this: I was not a problem child. Okay, I wasn't that kid that was sneaking out every night. I wasn't that kid that was. I never did drugs. I never had my first drink of alcohol until college, bro. I never had my first drink of alcohol until I was 18 in college. And even then, when I did that, my mom asked me at the end of the year, she's like, "Oh, did you drink your freshman year?" I'm like, "Yeah," because my thing is, like, I'm in college, I'm going into adulthood, I'm done lying. Like, there's no reason to lie anymore. You get what I'm saying? Like, to put it good, I was a great kid in high school. Just to be honest with yourself, like, I had good grades. I played sports towards the latter half of my high school career. I was in ROTC from the beginning of my high school career. All my teachers had nothing but great things to say about me. But my mom was one of those parents where she assumes, I think it's because of how she was when she was a kid. She just thinks that something's going on all the time, or we'll just clash about something stupid. But I remember my grandmother, she called me and we were talking, we were having a conversation. Sorry, I'm looking at the time over here. We're having a conversation, and she was like, like, this is not the Donovan, this is not the Don that we know, like, I need you to go back to that person, like the one that, we all know and love. And in that moment, I didn't really register it, how it really made me feel. But I know it made me feel some type of way, right? It's like, dude, I've changed and grown into this person that I think is doing pretty good for himself, considering all the things that he's doing, and he's not really causing any trouble. And you're telling me that I should go back to being a kid? Like, it's like, should I go back to being because I was a very docile and quiet child, like I would go outside and run around like my friends and all that stuff, but for the most part, like, I never gave problems. Again, just like I was a teenager, I never really gave problems, at least problems that were meaningful to any other parent. And as I grew up, I would always kind of hear that. I think maybe my sophomore years when it came back around, I heard that again. My dad said that to me actually. Yeah, he was like, like I want you to go back to the kid that, like I raised, that I know, blah blah blah, XYZ. And like as a parent, like yeah, I kind of get it when you think that your kid is kind of going off on a tangent from what you expect. You want them to return to who they were before that, but it's like, dude, that's not who I am anymore. And especially the fact that as a kid, I would mute myself, to put it in a way. I don't really know how to describe it, but like I would tone down myself, right? So like my personality, I would try to, this is again with the people pleasing, I would try to match my personality with what's going on around me, right? Whatever was when I was at home, sure, I'd be myself, but to a certain extent, so I don't cause trouble. Like I was always hyper aware of like, dude, I don't want to really rock the boat too much. I don't want to get in trouble for this. I don't want to get in trouble for that. And that's not because like my dad was pretty chill. Like my dad wasn't like my dad didn't hit me as a kid. My dad wasn't harsh on me. My dad pretty much, he kind of just let me do my own thing. But I was just always aware of the fact that I don't like causing trouble. I don't want to cause unnecessary trouble. I don't like unwanted attention, unnecessary attention. And as I grew up, that always stuck with me. So to hear that, well, as I grew up, that always stuck with me, but I also became more comfortable being myself as I grew up. Like as I'm getting older, especially with the relationships that I've been in and the friendships that I've formed, I'm becoming more comfortable with being myself and being okay with, if you don't like me, bro, if you don't want to be around me, okay, like I don't particularly care if you don't want me in your life, because I'm gonna make my own life great. That's the thing. As long as I'm enjoying my own life and I'm not hurting anybody, I'm great. Like I'm doing good. So, just as I grew up and hearing people say that, it really kind of hit me, man. Like it's like you want me to go back to this person that I was like a toned down version of myself. It's just crazy. But to expand that even more to just you, dude, the things that you want to do with your life and the places that you want to go with your life, you're not gonna get there by being what other people want you to be. I mean, you may be if they want you to be like a profession or a job, like yeah. But in terms of your personality, man, like sure, you may get into the rooms, but dude, you're not gonna like it. You're not gonna enjoy it. You're not gonna be happy about what's going on. You're probably gonna hate it. Like if you keep living your life for somebody else, I understand making sacrifices for other people. That's a thing that we as humans do all the time. Our parents do it for us. We're gonna do it for our own kids. We do it for our friends. We do it for our significant others. But if you keep living your life to please other people and soothe other people's interests and wishes all the time. That's not to say that you can't do it sometimes, but all the time, bro, it's just you're never going to be truly happy with yourself. And at the end of the day, what really matters is that you're happy with your life and where you're going with your life. I said this, I'm pretty sure before. I'm quote unquote living my dream life right now. Sure, it's not producing the fruits that I want yet, but I'm living my dream life. I'm making content. I'm making friends with content creators. I've collabed with content creators. Again, sure, I'm not making money from it yet, but I'm both living and building the steps to my dream life. Like I make a video, I post it every day. I make a TikTok, I post it every day. And if I had stuck to the plan of what my parents wanted for me, which is, I'm still on that path because it just so happens to align with what I want, but for different reasons. I don't know what my life would be. I used to not be happy with my life. I'll be honest with you. I used to not be happy with my life and the person that I was. But then I realized that the only person that can change that is me. I got up. I made sure I got into my programs and things of that nature. Like, to them, it's like, oh, he got into his program. He's gonna go in there, get a good job out of it. No, to me, it's like, yeah, sure, I'll have a good job at the end of it, but I'm getting in there because I want the doctorate. But truly, what I really want to do is be a creator. What I truly want to do is to create something that people will be touched by. I'm not sure. Again, I would say I'm not sure where this will go, because this isn't the only thing that I'm doing. But I want to create something that can help people. Whether it's mentally, emotionally, or however else. So, dude, just live your life for your own self. I feel like this video was a little bit less direct than the rest. It was kind of all over the place because, again, I felt like this one was for me more than anything else. But as always, whatever you do in life, put God first. Always try to cultivate a relationship with God. You know, love yourself more than you love anybody else. If there's nobody out there that loves you, I love you, but there's somebody out there that loves you. And yeah, I really do hope that I can figure out this whole iPhone to PC situation. Maybe when I get some money on me, I'll buy a camera and that'll work itself out. But I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.